Hello everyone, my name is Sniping is Fun, and this video right here is more so my thoughts on a certain announcement that just came out yesterday at the Game Awards, and in my mind, Sega has blown practically every other video game company almost out of the water, especially in comparison to various video game companies, like I did with my list months ago, the top 50 list of video game franchises that need to come back. About those video game companies that have been around for a long, long time, they have numerous franchises, and a lot of them just sit in the vault. They sit on the shelf, and we don't see them for a long time, if ever. In my opinion, Sega just showed off practically every other game company, because at the Game Awards, they announced at least 5 game franchises of theirs are coming out, are being made, are currently in development. And my God. And I think all 5 of them were on my list, or at least 4 of them were. They're bringing back Streets of Rage, which I know recently, just like about 4 years ago or so, 5 years ago or so now, we had Streets of Rage 4, which was awesome. I love Streets of Rage 4. And this is like a 3D Streets of Rage. It makes me wonder if it's Streets of Rage 5 or if they're doing a 3D remake of like the first one or second one or something. Because Axel in the trailer looked like younger Axel, not old man Axel, but who knows? Maybe he shaved and looks like his younger self. I don't know. But Streets of Rage is coming back, one of my favorite Sega franchises. We're getting another one now. They are bringing back Jet Set Radio. I've never had a chance to play either of the previous 2 because I never had a Dreamcast. And when I had the Xbox, I happened to never get the one on the Xbox. But I have heard very good things about the franchise, and I've been wanting to see it come back for a long time. And a lot of actual Sega fans, people that grew up with the franchise and love it, have been wanting to see it back for a long time. We are finally getting a new Jet Set Radio. They're bringing back Shinobi. I forgot the last time we seen a freaking Shinobi game. I think it was the 3DS. So it's been a while. And Shinobi's a Sega classic franchise. They're bringing back Golden Axe in 3D. And I know people might have a little bit of a sour taste of that 360 one that came out back in 2007 or 8 or so, and that game was crap. This looks freaking fantastic. It looks like classic Golden Axe thrown in the 3D. The game looks badass. And the last one was Crazy Taxi. I love me some Crazy Taxi. I'm so glad we're finally getting a new Crazy Taxi. Finally getting a new Crazy Taxi. And the last new one, because I know they ported 1 and I think 2, probably the Xbox Arcade or something. I know that they came in, people didn't really like some of those versions because the licensing for some of the music got changed and so on and so forth. But the last time I think we actually got a new Crazy Taxi was, I think back on the original, I think it was the 3rd one on the original Xbox. I know they've done ports and stuff, like I said, and there's been people, numerous companies trying to make spiritual successors and all this other stuff, and a lot of them failing. They're not as good as Crazy Taxi. But yeah, Crazy Taxi, Shinobi, Golden Axe, Jet Set Radio, and Streets of Rage are all coming back, and they didn't just leave it at that. They said, and more. It makes you wonder what Sega franchises are in the works for games. I mean, there's numerous ones that haven't had a game in a couple years. There's numerous ones that haven't had a game in a decade or so. Will we potentially be seeing a new Afterburner? A new Altered Beast? Columns? How about Echo the Dolphin? Virtual Fighter's been rumored for a long time. We might finally get Virtual Fighter 6 finally. Comic Zone, Gunstar Heroes, Knights, Outrun, Sega Rally, Space Channel 5's Shenmue, a new Toe Jam and Earl, I think would be kind of interesting. I don't think they've had one in a minute. Kid Chameleon is a classic of mine back in the day. I was obsessed with that game despite not owning a Sega Genesis and being stuck over at my cousin's house, and they had to force me out of the house when we left. Bonanza Bros, Vector Man, Fighting Vipers. Hell, a new freaking Valkyria Chronicles. I know we haven't... Valkyria Chronicles 4 is only about 4 or 5 years old, but it's time for Valkyria Chronicles 5. I mean, I know they just did the House of the Dead remake of the first one. Maybe we could do a new, full-on new House of the Dead, or a House of the Dead 2 remake or something. Um, a lot of games. There's a lot of stuff from Sega that they could potentially bring back. They could potentially continue forward and make a new game. Maybe a new Soccer Wars. I know we just saw one in 2019, but it's time for a new one at this point, Sega. I just named off numerous franchises, some of which we have not seen in forever. And and that's what leaves you open minded because they said more. They didn't just say these are the only 5 we're working on. They said these are the 5 and more. And that literally is why I feel Sega has just outclassed and shown off practically every other company in the gaming industry right now. I'm not the biggest Sega fan, but I do like a lot of their franchises, despite not having grown up with them a whole hell of a lot. But there's a lot of franchises I just named off I would love to see new games for, especially Valkyria Chronicles and Altered Beast and Kid Chameleon, Sega Rally, Shenmue, Outrun, Comic Zone, Knights, a lot of stuff. How about a new Billy Hatcher? We can get a new Billy Hatcher. It'd be so awesome to see that stuff. But like I said, they've just outshone these companies because you have, as big of a Nintendo fan as I am, they are a massive culprit of this. But Nintendo, Capcom, Activision, Ubisoft, freaking Namco, EA, Sony, even Microsoft to some extent, they're all sitting on franchises. Nintendo hasn't done anything with F-Zero or Golden Sun or Sin and Punishment, Wave Race, 1080, freaking other franchises that they have not done with anything in a long freaking time. Sony's sitting on freaking Jak and Daxter. They're sitting on Sly Cooper. They're sitting on freaking Twisted Metal. They're sitting on a few other games. You got Capcom who's sitting on freaking Rival Schools. They're sitting on Darkstalkers. They're sitting on Final Fight. We have 2. Now we're going on the second new Streets of Rage, and we have no Final Fight 4. Capcom. And a bunch of other games from Capcom. Breath of Fire, a legit new one, not mobile phone crap. EA with a lot of their sports games. Ubisoft with Rayman. All these other companies are sitting on franchises. But we have Sega here coming out and dropping the mic on every single one of them. That's crazy. And that's my thoughts. It's just like, this is a big announcement, especially for gamers like me who have been around for quite some time and have grown up with some of these franchises. Maybe not as much as, say, others, but, your experiences with these Sega franchises over the years may vary, but there's a lot of franchises here that I know people would like to see come back. These 5 that they already announced create a lot of hype, and I'm hoping Sega doing this drops the mic, drops the bomb on all these other companies, and they start thinking, oh crap, we have franchises we don't use. Let's use them. Hey! And that's about it. My name is Sniper1. Peace. Please subscribe if you want to. Have a lovely day, and I'll see you later in the next video. Bye, everybody.